I'm Chad.
I'm Brad.
And I'm Caitlin. Welcome to the BroncPod, brought to you by Hastings College Center for Applied Media Arts.
And we're Hastings College athletes.
Awesome, guys. Let's do it. For today's episode, we have a handful of our Hastings College athletes here. We're going to kind of talk about their seasons. Some of them are ending, some of them are beginning, and we just kind of want to see the inside scoop on what's going on. So first, we're going to start with introducing each person, what their name is, their grade level, and what sport they are involved with.
I'm Gabriel Escalera. I'm from Saudita, Arizona, and I'm on the golf team.
My name is Kavika Aholale. I'm from Yorba Linda, California, and I wrestle.
My name is Tabitha Wood. I'm a sophomore, and I'm on the wrestling team.
My name is Mariah Vila. I'm a freshman. I'm on the women's basketball team.
I'm Niza Thomas. I'm a junior, and I'm on the track and field team.
I'm Reggie Thomas. I play basketball, and I'm a freshman.
I'm Teresa Price, and I'm on the tennis team, and I'm a senior.
I'm Kyla Humphreys. I am a freshman, and I play softball.
I'm Wyatt Lambertson. I'm on the track and field team, and I'm a freshman.
Sweet, so those are your athletes that are going to be with us today. So we don't start all awkward and with a bunch of questions, we do have some icebreakers for us today. So they're pretty, I think they're funny. I just made them up, so stick with me. So we can either go one by one, bounce around, whatever you guys like to do. Whoever wants to take it can take it. I don't care. So this is your first question, okay? What color is your toothbrush?
Mine's blue.
Mine's blue too.
Pink.
Yeah, blue.
Mine's is black.
I got a pink and white combo.
Same, actually.
I'm a green guy.
Mine's a solid white.
Mine's a solid white too.
A lot of variety there, guys. I like it.
Yeah, mine's blue, so I'm a blue guy.
Yeah. All right, so moving on from that, what is your biggest pet peeve?
Repeating myself.
Oh, that's a good one.
Big one.
I agree with that.
When people cough in their hands.
Ooh, that's straight up nasty.
People that suck at driving.
Got some road rage.
With that, I'll go with slow drivers.
That's fair too.
Loud chewing.
What about the gum chomping? That pisses me off.
Definitely teeth on the silverware.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's pretty rough.
Chewing. 100% chewing.
Perfect. All right, so we're going to get into one of our first questions about athleticism for the college. So, how is your season going, or how do you feel about your upcoming season? So, if your season's already going, how do you feel about it? And if it's about to come, what are your goals?
Well, our season started off pretty well, and then now we're in a little drought right now, and it's about to end. We need to win our last 2 games to get in the tournament, so let's hope we can do that.
We're concluding indoors, so GPAC this week and Nationals in a week. Indoor season has been great. We're preparing for outdoor, and my ultimate goal is just beating the record I already have.
I'd say the golf is going to be really good. We got a lot of young talent this second semester. We've been practicing on our indoor facility, and I'm excited to see what we can do at the GPAC tournament.
Go ahead, Mariah.
I think for women's basketball, it was just a bit of a growing season for us, since we're pretty young, so.
For sure,
yeah.
for sure. Teresa, let's pop over to you.
Our season started about a month ago, and we've played some really hard teams, but we actually got some wins under our belt already. So I think we're going to do really good this year.
Love to hear it. Love to hear it. Kyla?
We're off to a bumpy start, but we have a very young team, but we have a lot of talent on our team that I think once we shake it off, we'll have a good season.
Very cool.
It's kind of end of indoor season. We got quite a few national qualifiers. It's going to be a great season for outdoor too. So, I mean, it's going pretty good.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah, for men's wrestling, we're a small team this year, young as well, but we have our regionals this weekend, so national qualifiers, so hoping we qualify a few, and my plan is the All-American this year, so.
Awesome.
For women's wrestling, we just competed on Sunday, and we had like 4 or 5 girls place. And then we're about to have conference next weekend, and then nationals.
Amazing. Gabe, you and a couple other people mentioned local young talent we have. And so I'm kind of going to aim this toward more to the freshmen of the table. We have a huge diversity here of freshmen, sophomores, a senior. And we just kind of want to see the different things about how each of you handles their sports differently. So kind of going over to Kyla here. How is doing collegiate sports a little bit different from high school sports?
It's definitely adjustment. Like in high school, there was seniority, and like you go into it knowing, okay, the seniors are gonna play, and you have to work for your spot. But in college, everything's earned. You don't go into it with a spot. You go in, you play, and whoever's gonna perform the best is gonna play.
For sure. What?
For my sport, it's more like you're an individual person. You have to go out there and you have to work hard yourself. So it's kind of the same as high school. You go out, you perform good, you win.
Why? You're a day athlete, correct?
Yeah, I'm a decathlete outdoor and a heptathlete indoor.
Okay, very cool. Mariah, over to you.
I just think like for basketball specifically, the biggest adjustment was like the speed of the game. It's a lot faster here, and
sure.
like everybody's here to specifically play basketball, so it's just a lot more competitive than it was in high school.
I want to kind of say the same thing as her and her. Like, you have to come here and earn it instead of like being the senior of the team and just playing just because you're a senior. For me at least, my coach seen the talent in me, so he was like, okay, I want to play him because he's going to work hard.
Yeah. Do you think that's driven you more as a player overall? Is that just that fact that you have to earn it rather than being a senior?
Yeah, it does. It does.
And this is kind of a, everybody here is a college athlete, so I think we all have some level of like love for the sport we play and some reason we're playing it. So what is the reason, why do you love the sport that you play?
I'm a competitor. I like to win, hate to lose, so got to work hard, work your ass off to get that win,
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think I'd say the same thing. I absolutely hate losing, and so, and just like getting the opportunity to like go out and like show my ability and our team's ability every day is kind of rewarding.
I would agree with being a competitor, but it's also an outlet. College is stressful, life is stressful, so when I'm in my sport, that's where I'm able to let go and zone out and be able to be me fully.
I played softball since I was about 7, and so I played it almost my whole life, and it just has always brought me a lot of great friendships and a lot of life lessons that you learn early on in life because you're playing a sport, and like mental toughness, and it really just, it builds character, and it makes you a better person being around others, pushing each other.
For sure.
Well, all of us made it here to the college level. It's kind of nice to see if you're the best in the college level. You were already the best in high school. You made it to a college. So now you just get to prove yourself every day.
I think it's a lot about like personal growth too. Like you get to see like how much better you can get each day.
Yeah.
I feel like it's the grind. That's why I love it so much. It's just the grind.
Just that constant getting better, overcoming not only other people but yourself.
Yeah.
For sure.
Moving on to the next question. This one's kind of like open-ended to even new athletes coming in or freshmen coming in, or just overall to your peers. But what are the do's and don'ts of being a college athlete?
I like this one.
Practice with a purpose.
Is that a do?
That is a do. That is a do.
Okay.
You don't want to not do that.
Don't be lazy. Like not just in your sport, but also in school, your classwork, because if you don't got the grades, you can't compete.
Don't sleep through 6 a.m. practice.
Yeah,
Never ends well for anyone.
Show up 10 minutes before it starts, like everywhere you go. Like if you're on time, you're late.
I would say do keep a good mindset because there are going to be days where practice is hard or you just not feeling it.
I say like come prepared to every practice, game, anything, because if you don't come prepared, then you're not going to be ready.
You had mentioned, Kyla, some like sleeping in through 6 a.m. practice. So what's kind of a consequence of sleeping through practices? You guys can all answer that too, because I know there's different ones for each sport.
So for softball, we've had a couple times where an athlete has missed. I haven't yet, knock on wood, but the punishment, we usually end up on the turf field, and we usually have some plates on the ground that we're pushing, and a lot of running, a lot of burpees. It's just, that's a big part of being committed to a team, like
Yeah.
showing up all the time. Even those 6 a.m.s when you are exhausted, you got to show up.
Absolutely.
For track and field, it's very different because our sport is everyone else's punishment. So our coach doesn't make us our coach doesn't make us run more, but like you probably will have to like sit out a track meet or sit out two. It really depends on how long it's been since you missed. So like 5 minutes, an hour, the whole thing. So
That's why you just play golf.
Okay, continuing on, because I feel like most people throughout high school is a three-sport athlete. So I am really curious what made you pick this one sport and just keep driving into it, picking that one. What made you stick to the one that you went to college with?
For me, track came natural. I literally tried every sport in the book, basketball, golf, all that. It wasn't me. I could run my butt off, so that's what I chose to stuck with. And then specifically, I stuck with hurdles. So that's how I got into it.
In high school, I did softball and track and basketball, and I think basketball just like really stuck with me because it was more of like a team thing. I mean, softball is a bit too, but it's still like kind of based on your individual performance. But as basketball, it's like everybody on your team like really has to like gel together and play well together, and I liked that.
I've been wrestling since I was like 5, and I just stuck with it because I love the mentality that it's given me and just the pure like hard work and love that you have to have for this sport.
High school, I played soccer, softball, and basketball, and just softball always challenged me, and every day you can perform great one day and awful the next. And like Mariah was saying, like other sports are very team driven, but softball's both. Like you have to be an individual and perform well for the team to perform well. And I liked that it was both aspects.
I mean, I got an offer for track. So, did track, right?
Fair enough.
Very fair.
Oh, well, just add on that. Yeah, for wrestling, it's just, I like it because it's a one-on-one, you know, it's a competition. It's you against the other guy, man on man, see who can impose their will, and I just like that, you know. I like that aspect of it. I did rugby as well for my whole life, and I mean, love that sport too, but there's nothing like that can compare with wrestling when you step on that mat against the other person, you know.
Mariah and a couple other people had mentioned, so we all have team sports here, but some of them I think we can agree are more individual based with what you do, such as track, you have individual events for those things. So how would you kind of, for those of you who, like Caitlin had mentioned, did multiple sports in high school, how would you say those individual based sports are different from your team sports that you do now or the individual sports you do now? How would your mentality difference between that?
So with team sports, I didn't like the aspect of like, because you know you win and lose as a team. So I know throughout high school a lot of people like blame each other even though it was a team sport. So like with me going into track, I can only blame myself if I didn't compete how I wanted to at that line. I can't blame it on my coaches. I can't blame it on nobody else because they handed me the plan. I just had to fulfill it because it's my own potential that I'm potentially messing with. So that was the aspect I got from both, like who's in charge here.
Yeah, to add on to that, you control your own fate in an individual sport, so it's if you worked hard or not, you'll see the results.
Absolutely. For those team sports, what do you love about the team sports? Reggie?
I just love how, like, when everything is going bad or everything is going good, we always stick together. That's my favorite part about team sports. It's just the love that we give each other and the relationships we gain at the end of all of it as well.
Awesome.
Most people don't think of golf as a team sport. I mean, it's not a team sport when you get to like the next level, but like all throughout high school and college now, you definitely you have to play good for yourself and your team. And when you don't play good and you're a good player on your team, you're gonna hurt your team if you get in your head and decide you just want to give up. So.
All right, we got a little bit of a fun icebreaker question, still about your sport in a sense. We were talking about this. I really like this question. And if you don't have one for your sport, maybe think of another sport. This is for like professional sports. So think NFL. Who is the biggest fraud of your sport? So think of the professionals. So who is somebody that you think? I'll try to give some context to the word fraud. Who do you think has like a lot of hype, but you just think doesn't deserve it? Maybe you could say overrated, but who's the biggest fraud? Who do you think just doesn't deserve what they have? So I give that a little time to marinate.
Yeah.
As we sit here and we think about it.
In a little bit.
I know Gabe has an answer, so I'll go to Gabe first. We talked about this, so I'll let Gabe go first.
Well, there's this guy, Danny Willett. He's won the Masters, but he shouldn't have really won. The guy that should have won just kind of handed it to him at the end, hit like 3 balls into the water, and just kind of gave up. And Danny Willett is nowhere near the top 100 in the world, and I don't know. I had a sports bet on him last fall to win a tournament, come back and win a tournament, and he would have won if he'd have just 2-putted, but he 3-putted from 5 feet, and we were all sitting in Buffalo Wild Wings just screaming at the TVs. I had like $5 to win like 30, but that's a lot when you're in college.
Are y'all gonna hate me for this one? I ain't even gonna lie. But my biggest fraud for basketball, we're gonna go NBA, is LeBron James. He is not the best player of all time. I'm just saying that right now, just because he scored a whole bunch of points in 20 years, he is not the best player of all time.
All right, do you think it's Michael Jordan?
Of course.
Of course. LeBron James.
I mean, I don't know. Like, just right now, because there's kind of a lot of heat around it, but like, Gino Auriemma, probably one of the greatest basketball coaches ever. He's just kind of fallen off the edge a little bit. He's not dominant in the sport anymore, and then he's kind of taking it roughly.
I don't know anyone for track, but I know for basketball they had the LSU and USC game. So I think her name is like Angel Reese from LSU. Like, she gets the hype for like talking stuff all the time, and I just feel like she's overrated.
Fraud.
Fraud.
So we asked a question earlier kind of to the freshmen. Now we're going to go more towards the sophomores, juniors, and upperclassmen about that. And so kind of going off that, what are some of the biggest takeaways from past collegiate seasons that you've had? And from that, kind of what's taught you to be a better collegiate athlete? What's kind of helped you? You talk about a lot of drive. What are some things that drive you as someone who's done it for a couple years now?
For me, failure is okay. Failure doesn't mean it's done. It's more so redirection. And from there, if you fail, you just have to learn from it, pick yourself back up, and try again.
Just learning from yourself and growing and staying positive, because like after 4 years, it gets exhausting and you just want to quit, but just like look at it as having fun and it's okay.
Nice.
Yeah, you just gotta make what's best out of it, because when you look at it, you got 4 years for the rest of your life. You know, like this is all you got. You can't compete anymore after this at a collegiate level at least. So you just gotta put in as much work as you can and just make the best out of it.
Yeah, you can only learn from failure, especially in golf. That's why I say practice with a purpose.
Kind of that. I love what you said, Nessa, about failure. Like, what does failure mean to you guys? What if I said the word failure? What do you think of when you hear that?
It kind of relates with me now because I'm currently injured. So I'm going into GPAC and nationals with a hurt hamstring. So I consider that as a failure because I didn't like protect my body to the fullest potential where I need it the most. So basically now I see that and I gotta just basically go build from it. Yes, I'm hurt, but I still have a task to fulfill and to finish. I might not get what I want out of it, but I can still get the best I can out of it. So it all varies from person to person. What you expect and what you want, you might not reach it, but you still might get what you need at the end of the day.
Absolutely. Why? How do you feel about failure? What do you think of?
I think failure is just falling down on your face, not really getting back up. I mean, you can always learn from failure. Failure is just, I don't know, people say failure is the best teacher. You just kind of learn from your mistakes, then you just get better throughout your life or season, whatever you want to call it.
So kind of going off of those answers and questions, when days are really hard and long, what keeps you going? Like, what keeps you craving that grind on the 6 a.m. weights or the 3 practices a day? Like, what keeps you wanting to keep going?
I say balancing yourself, like having different hobbies instead of like just your sport. Like what I do is like try to play my game to keep my head off of basketball if we're losing or if I'm playing bad. Just like keep my head on something else instead of just my sport the entire time.
I agree with Reggie. Like, if your main focus is just your sport, of course it's going to take a toll on you. So, like, I go out with friends, I talk to other people, do some homework, go work ahead if you need to. Like, simply just don't make your sport be your personality while in college. Yes, it got you here, but also branch out in many different ways.
I think that on those hard days, like, going to practice and stuff is what's going to make you better. And, like, those are the days that really build you and, like, you test your mentality.
Yeah, you just got to embrace the grind, embrace the suck, push through it,
I think I took the question a little different, but like the thing that like keeps me going and playing is like the feeling of when you're playing and you hit like a home run or a really important hit at the last second when it's a close game. Like that's something you can't like replicate. Like that feeling is just like the best feeling in the world, and working every day to get at that again, it's just, I mean, it's addicting. Like playing your sport and being successful is addicting, and that's why you continue to grind.
That's a great answer.
I kind of going off that, you guys talked about having other stuff to do. So I think we should just go around each. What is something else? What's a hobby of yours that you do other than your sport that you just enjoy doing, or just something that take your mind off of it? We'll start over here this time with Wyatt.
Partying's pretty fun. Like the good classic party. You go and hang out with a bunch of friends in a dorm room. You sitting there playing Xbox. That's what I consider a party. I like that. Like no drinking. That's awful.
Spending time with friends, just like getting your head off of it, not, talking about it, and being away from family. I love getting to talk to my family and, get away from it for a minute.
For sure.
I love hanging out with friends, but I also really like crafting. So I make jewelry, or I sew headbands or whatever.
Playing the game, that's about it. And hanging out with a lot of friends.
There you go.
I like to binge watch old Disney shows, so yeah.
I like that.
Oh, you like that?
Yeah.
Sometimes I like to read, I guess, on occasion. And then just hanging out with my friends.
I say just chilling with my friends.
Yeah, hanging out with friends and playing video games. I play a lot of video games.
I like to go fishing. Just be alone for a day and just in nature.
I know some of us, are away from home, Colorado. I was wondering this is kind of a general question, maybe away from athletics. What's different about not being at home, being at somewhere where you're staying, you're not with your family, and how is it different now playing a sport and dealing with not being at home? Now you're away at college.
For me, I think it's just hard because my parents used to be at every game, and now they're not anymore. And if I was frustrated or anything, I could go to them and just spill out everything that was on my mind, and they just listen. And without them here, it's it's hard to kind of do that over the phone. So I think that's a big piece that's missing right now.
I say becoming your own person. You always looked up to your parents, and with them not here, you can find yourself basically and become more responsible, because they like cleaned up for you or did the dishes for you. Now you got to do that on your own. So just being more responsible.
Kind of piggybacking off that, like when you come to college, it's very quick that you have to mature and become an adult. Like you're taking care of yourself, and so, I mean, sometimes like, for example, when you're sick at school, like you have to take care of yourself, and like it's just weird not having your people with you, but like they still are there on the phone.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to hug your mom through the phone after a bad day, you know.
For sure.
I love it. I love being alone. Love just being responsible for myself and being able to hold myself accountable for things. It's helped me.
This is a fun question. I know sometimes athletes, depending on a sport, can kind of have a reputation for how many pairs of tennis shoes they own. So I'd like to go around, and I want like a guesstimate number of how many pairs of tennis shoes do you own. So I can already see on some faces that'll be a lot. We'll start with Wyatt, and we'll go this way.
Well, here I probably have like 4 or 5 pairs, but at home probably like 15 pairs. Not too big. I know Reggie over there.
Yeah, here I probably have about 10 pairs, and I probably have about another 10 to 12 pairs at home.
There you go.
I probably only have like 6 or 5 pairs of shoes in total.
I honestly don't know, but I probably got like 30 pairs here. Not even gonna lie, like 30 pairs of shoes here, and then like probably like 15 to 20 back home.
I'm similar to Reggie. I think I brought all my shoes, so I got like 30 or 40 here.
I don't think I've ever had that many shoes in my life. But like right now, I'm probably only like 3 that I actually wear like constantly.
I think I got like 10.
Yeah, I got a solid maybe 5. Not a big shoe guy, but yeah.
I probably got 10, like including like 5 pairs of golf shoes. Chad, I know you have a lot of golf shoes.
We're gonna talk about questions for you guys. So
Wait, no, I want to hear the answers. How many do you have?
I brought about 12 pairs of golf shoes here.
I have a good like
Just golf?
15. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
A lot
Just
of
golf?
shoes.
Just golf, not golf shoes. I have 2 pairs of tennis shoes. That's all I wear. But golf shoes, I mean, I won't invest in that.
That's crazy.
All right, one final question for you guys here, and it's kind of more drive home, I think, kind of thing is, what for each of you, who has kind of been the biggest influence in your life for your sport? Or just in life in general? It doesn't have to be specifically to your sport, but who has been one of the most influential people to you?
For me, it's my older brother Colin. He was really good at track in high school. I always wanted to catch him, always tried to beat him, which I've beat him now. But now he's in the Marines right now. He's overseas in Afghanistan. So it's kind of nice to just kind of trail behind him, get to beat his goals, and then he gets to celebrate them with me. So.
Awesome.
I grew up an only child, so my parents were my best friends and my biggest supporters. And like my dad coached me all through my softball career. My mom was always in the front row cheering. So my parents are definitely my biggest inspiration and motivators.
My biggest influence for the sport would be when I was a freshman, there was a senior, and she was just the epitome of like tennis, and I loved her, and now that I'm in her spot, like I just want to be her, and like I really looked up to her.
I say it's my older brother, just like Wyatt. Like he always pushed me every time and just like made me a better player throughout my whole entire basketball career.
For me, it would have to be my grandpa. He was always that one that would call me after every race and make sure I was okay, or just asking me how it was. And then, like, even if it was days I didn't like how I ran, he would be like, "You're still my Flojo." So he would just make it better in any aspect.
For basketball, definitely my high school coach. He knew kind of how to like push my buttons and get me to play like to my best ability. But just for like life in general, definitely my parents.
I think I've always had like a big support system with wrestling. Like my parents always supported it. My coaches were always there for me when I was like the only girl on my team too. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd probably say my family. Just I've had 2 older brothers, older sister that I've always looked up to. That like I chase to be better than them. But also my dad. He's pushed me to like be where I am today because Without him, I'd probably be just chilling, like lazy, you know. But he got me to the gym. He wake me up every morning to go to the gym with him, and like I'm here today probably because of him. So yeah.
Definitely my parents. They've just supported me throughout golf my whole life. Paid for all my tournaments and stuff. And my stepdad has been my only swing coach. We learned together, and now now I'm in college.
I think I have another question. Do you guys have any like crazy stories like during a game or buzzer beaters or like a really race that you didn't think you were gonna win or like a crazy match or anything like that?
So track is kind of dangerous. So I do hurdles. So like sometimes I would turn around and somebody's like laid out because they fell over the hurdle. So like the moments be so crazy. And then some people fall off pole vault. Like it's not really, alarming, but at the same time, it's crazy because sometimes them wipeouts be out of this world.
I saw Zaylee fall the other day during her meet. And
Yes,
crazy.
Zaylee like fell over the first hurdle, and like hurdlers we fall all the time, but like
She ate it into a somersault.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
In high school, my sophomore year, so my high school was only freshman, sophomore my first year, and we were playing, I think it was Conifer, and they were really good, and we were down by 1 in the 6th, and we had to beat them to get to championships, and bases were loaded, and I hit a triple up the right field line, and the whole football team was there, and everyone was there because it was a big game, and it was just the most insane noise.
Nothing? You guys have to have some crazy
Yeah.
story.
I think we'll do one more here. Wyatt.
I was pole vaulting the other day in practice and whacked my back on the standard after I went up over.
Pole vaulting
So-
is dangerous, man. I've seen some.
Yeah, that's pretty
I've seen some
horrifying.
crazy things.
Oh,
with that.
it's great. I love it.
That's scary.
Alrighty. Well, I think we're gonna start to wrap it up here. Thank you guys so much for all coming here and joining us today for this great answers to all our questions, and thank you for giving your time. I want to say a huge thank you to the media team, the Hastings College media team.
Pretty legit.
None of this would be possible without them. So, and a big thank you to Jared Rogers for helping put all this together.
Caitlin, you want to?
I'm Caitlin.
I'm Brad.
And I'm Chad, and thank you for tuning in on the BroncPod.